All right, I think we should go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Nick Schrammick. I'm the Director of International Relations at Silicon Valley Forum in Silicon Valley. Delighted to be here today with a whole host of intelligent and engaging people from around the world. So we're really excited to be a partner with this event. And we're very excited for the Qatari Embassy to initiate this program. And I definitely want to reach out and give special thanks to the Embassy team, and especially the Ambassador Sheikh Mishal Al-Thani and Mr. Hassan Al-Khalifa for their partnership. And today I am joined as well by Mohammed Bakarat, who will be my co-host for this session. Mohammed, good morning or good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nick. Thank you so much. I appreciate your introduction. And thanks for everyone for being with us today. Appreciate the quality and the caliber of the people participating with us from Qatar, representing several entities: Ministry of Transport and Communication, Qatar Financial Center, Musharraf Properties, and of course Qatar Development Bank. And of course, special thanks to the Silicon Valley Forum for being with us today. I would like to also thank the Embassy of the State of Qatar in the United States for working with us in hosting this event. His Excellency Ambassador Mishal, and as well the economic team and the embassy led by Hassan Al-Khalifa, and as well the commercial attaché here, Fahad Al-Dosari, and his office. We appreciate everyone being with us. At the US-Qatar Business Council, we're always looking forward to work with Qatari entities and American entities to introduce and educate more the American audience about what's going on in Qatar, the transformation, the projects, the boom in the state of Qatar is critical for many American companies already involved or will be involved, hopefully, in the Qatar economy and in Qatar building its development strategies. The digital transformation and as well the projects that Qatar has led in smart cities and many projects that we will hear about today is phenomenal, and we will hear a lot about it today from experts, and we're looking forward to help you and work with you to get to Qatar and work with Qatar. Thank you, Nick, and I appreciate it.
Wonderful. And just to briefly introduce Silicon Valley Forum, we are a Bay Area nonprofit organization that's been around for 37 years. And essentially, we connect the world to Silicon Valley and Silicon Valley to the world. So we are delighted to be partnering with the Qatari government for this project, which really fits right into what we love to do. Mohammed, do you want to go ahead and introduce our first speaker?
Yes, thank you, Nick. Well, I'm very honored to introduce today our keynote speaker, Her Excellency Reem Al-Mansouri from Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Transport and Communication. Her Excellency has over 2 decades in digital transformation in Qatar. She leads many projects, including TASMU, leading digital society and digital industry development. Her Excellency as well is a member of the Shura Council and ambassador of the women political leaders in the state of Qatar. She's amongst the first woman to be appointed to the Shura Council in Qatar. As well, she's leading as Undersecretary of Digital Society Development of the Ministry of Transport and Communication. She has a Master of Science in Computational Intelligence and an Executive MBA with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm very glad to introduce our keynote speaker today. We have a recorded message from Her Excellency, and I would like our team to play it right now. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by thanking you for your presence here today. I would also like to thank the hosts of the Silicon Valley Forum for organizing this important event. Over the years, Silicon Valley has become equivalent to technology and innovation, affording growth, opportunity, and of course, entrepreneurship. Similarly, TASMU Smart Qatar journey is paved through similar integral themes to become one of the world's smartest countries that is self-sustaining and knowledge-based. With this in mind, I'm excited to be able to address you today and share the story of Qatar's transformation into a smart country. The story begins in 2008 with the launch of Qatar National Vision 2030 Development Plan, which outlines the objective and goals set by Qatar's leader. The plan ultimately aims to transform Qatar into an advanced society capable of sustaining its development, providing a high standard of living for its people. Since then, Qatar has made a significant investment to create a robust and dynamic economy that encourages innovation and attract entrepreneurial organizations. As Qatar prepares for major events, such as the 2022 FIFA World Cup, investments are set to continue. In line with these efforts, Qatar has created one of the highest levels of mobile network coverage in the world and became one of the first countries to adopt the 5G network. With a highly advanced and modern infrastructure, enterprises in Qatar are supported with reliable world-class broadband speed. Benefiting from a state-of-the-art infrastructure, Qatar's smart city concept are turning into reality with the Sharab downtown Doha, one of the world's first sustainable downtown regeneration project with more than 400 LEED certified sustainable buildings, and Lusail City, which houses one of the biggest cooling systems in the world, designed to save 65 million tons of CO2 annually. Ministries across the country have also joined forces to make Qatar's government more efficient, accessible, and customer-centric. The Qatar Digital Government Program is better serving individual and business, creating efficiency in government administration, and developing a more transparent government with enhanced participation of citizens and residents. As the Undersecretary of Digital Society Development at the Ministry of Transport and Communications, I'm proudly leading Qatar effort to embrace smart technology and to transform its economy through the TESMO Smart Qatar program. Developed as a digital response to the Qatar National Vision 2030 and overseen by the Ministry of Transport and Communications. The TESMO Smart Qatar program harnesses advanced technology and innovation to deliver smart solutions and applications across 5 priority sectors: transport, healthcare, logistics, environment, and sports. Our ambition is to improve the quality of life for everyone in Qatar, creating a seamless experience for visitors, residents, and nationals alike. Our human-centric approach ensures all TESMO smart solutions and applications are inclusive and easily accessible to all population segments, while upskilling youth, entrepreneurs, and professionals to utilize technological advancement. We invest in our people, and this makes us an attractive destination for global talents. In the next 5 years, TESMO will revolutionize the way we live, the way our government communicates, and the way Qatar tackles national challenges. We will improve access to quality healthcare and reduce the risk of chronic diseases, facilitate mobility through a safe and environmentally friendly transportation network, drive sustainable consumption of natural resources, and ensure water and food security. Moreover, we are developing a competitive logistics sector that promotes international trade and business development, and establishing a world-class destination for sport fan, athletes training, and sport innovation. Driving the TESMO vision through our mega project, the TESMO Central Platform, which is one of a kind smart city solution that we are incredibly proud of. It's a solution that we believe may become a model and a blueprint for a future smart city project. This sophisticated cloud infrastructure connects all solution services and sectors. Within this platform, we have combined the world's best data capabilities, such as data ingestion, processing, integration, and more, with a strong governance model that is designed to encourage cross-sector collaboration and data sharing while ensuring data privacy and security. Benefiting from a large cloud storage with high computing power, public and private entities will be able to utilize a variety of platform solutions like payment, data analytics, IoT, and AI to easily push their solutions to the market. Supported by an open data policy, technology companies will benefit from quality data that will stimulate research and innovation. This is complemented by TESMO pilot zones, which are vital for testing and improving innovation projects and real-life scenarios. The pilot zones provide business with the ability to develop and formulate operational requirements, test legislative and legal boundaries, and evaluate business models in live environments. To help achieve the vision of a smart Qatar, the ministry launched the TESMO Digital Valley, which acts as a catalyst to support Qatar's digital ecosystem and is built to accelerate the implementation of smart solutions and applications, specifically for international SMEs. TESMO Digital Valley links digital solutions provider with available opportunities in the market, streamlines their access, facilitate business registration, and IP advisory. Ultimately, the Digital Valley brings digital industry players together, offers resources and support, promotes investment and the growth of the industry. The digital market in Qatar has high potential. Through the TESMO Smart Qatar program, Qatar has large investment in the tech industry, and we have more than 60 investment opportunities available across various sectors. Qatar's spending on ICT projects is predicted to reach $9 billion by 2024, and cloud computing anticipated to have the highest growth rate of revenues will reach $1.6 billion by 2024. In addition, Qatar's artificial intelligence market is expected to grow by 40% annually to reach $5.7 million by 2022. The government is creating an investor-friendly business environment by ratifying a new law around foreign ownership, amending existing free zone laws, and streamlining procedures for administrative processes such as business incorporation and issuing business licenses. There are a variety of free zones in Qatar for foreign companies to take advantage of. The focus varies, but all free zones emphasize on the development of the technological sector. In the past year, the TESMO Digital Valley has supported many companies through their digital development journey by providing services from research commercialization to business launch and growth, including several foreign startups and SMEs in collaboration with Qatar Free Zones Authority. Today, more and more American companies are coming to Qatar, growing their investments and finding success across a number of sectors, including education, culture, energy, and technology. In 2019, we witnessed a 35% growth in bilateral trade. This reflects the growing economic and investment ties between Qatar and the United States. On behalf of the TESMO Smart Qatar program and the Ministry of Transport Communications, I would like to invite investors, entrepreneurs, and technology companies to be part of the Smart Qatar journey. Join us as we build a smart, sustainable, and vibrant society that will improve the quality of life for Qatar's citizens, residents, and visitors. I look forward to fruitful collaborations between our countries that will help bring this vision to life. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for Her Excellency Reem Al-Mansouri for this speech. It's fascinating the amount of work that Qatar have done and planning to do. And these numbers that Her Excellency mentioned, if anything, is a reflection of how much opportunities there is in the Qatari market and how much can be done. That being said, I would like to invite as well Ms. Maha Khodadad, TESMO Program Manager and Quality Assurance Manager from Ministry of Transport and Communication that will be delivering a presentation today. Maha, thank you for being with us, and I will give you the floor for your presentation.
Good morning, everyone, and good evening for our fellow Qatari partners. The purpose of today's session is to create awareness for the Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, innovators, and technology businesses. Before before we start, if you have any questions, please keep it to the end until the panel starts. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us and listen to our need and be part of our journey. Smart Qatar, or TASMO Smart Qatar program, is initiated by the Ministry of Transport and Communication in the State of Qatar. And the word TASMO in Arabic is taken from the national anthem of Qatar, best symbolize the spirit of rising above and pioneering development and promising future. Qatar has defined the National Vision 2030 that aims to transform Qatar into an advanced society, as Her Excellency was mentioning, achieving sustainable development, touching on all aspects of a human, social, economics, and environmental development. Nationwide efforts tie back to achieve that vision by default. It's the intent of the government to drive the national digital transformation and accelerate the realization of the vision. And that's why that's the role of TASMO. So TASMO is a digital response to our nation aspiration, and it's building our digital progress and creating a unifying framework in transforming our economy and society and making Qatar a preferred destination in the region to live, work, and visit. So in short, TASMO is about harnessing the technology and innovation to improve the quality of life of citizens and people living in Qatar, and also to diversify the economy. We are focusing as a beginning on 5 sectors, as you can see on the screen: transport, logistics, environment, healthcare, and sport. And we have selected around 15 object-oriented KPIs across the 5 sectors. Those KPIs are complementing each other. And as you can see here, for example, we are trying to reduce the network delay by 20. And by doing so, that will improve the timely access to medical attention and the healthcare. Another example also is by reducing the rate of obesity by 5%, we're achieving 25% of active population. That the 5 sectors were selected based on their national impact and potential of digitization and existing traction in Qatar. We started with those 5, but we're not saying that they are the only sectors that we are going to focus on. Later on, we will be maybe bringing other sectors in the future. To deliver on TASMO, a 5-year roadmap has been defined with the 23 initiatives grouped in 4 pillars. So enablers, for example, focusing on the setting of the environment, where we have to set the regulations, develop the policies and standards, and also focus on the governance and the funding framework that will enable the whole program. TASMO also drives the smart sector development. So the 5 sectors that we have talked about earlier, we are supposed to detail their strategy. How are we going to achieve those 3 KPIs? What is the governance needed to be able to achieve those KPIs? We are helping the 5 sectors build their open data platform, and also the most important thing is the smart solution or the use cases implementation, which will be more visible to the people who will be using it. The 3rd pillar is the digital ecosystem, which focusing on key capabilities such as cybersecurity, the cloud strategy that we need to build, also the pilot zones, and the technology investment fund that we need to set up also. And finally, the central platform that will act as an integrated layer for all TASMO use cases. setting up the infrastructure hub through which to activate all solutions and services to deliver access to Qatari ecosystem to the population. The central platform, or to power and enable efficient use case development and encourage innovation, we have a national digital platform. It has its own dedicated IoT infrastructure to hook up all the sensors, devices, and collect the data needed for specific use cases. It also has big data and data orchestration capability to collect and process and manage structured and unstructured data from existing databases, sensors, and further promote cross-sector data sharing and integration. This layer would also include open data and expand national data lake that innovators with the researchers and entrepreneurs can use in advance to test their research and ideas. The common services that this central platform will provide are such like national authentication, payment services, platform as service, geospatial services, and so on. And most probably it will be available next year for the services that we're building. Building on that, the central platform is designed on the concept of platform of platforms. It balances the need of centralization of specific capabilities such as the payment services, as we mentioned earlier, and the decentralization of others, such as mobility services, for example, that will be required by a specific sector or a specific sectorial platform of a sector. So, for example, in the transport, we will need an intelligent transport system. Or there is also the sport platform that we are trying to build. All of those sectorial platforms will be built on top of the central platform, and the services will be given to all of the smart solutions that we're building. That will be also, the solutions will be used by the citizens, the government, also the startup and SMEs, and the research and academia. We have developed 100 and more smart solutions in the 5 sectors back in 2017. And that playbook of smart solutions were refreshed in 2020 to meet the need of residents and visitors of Qatar across the priority sectors. These use cases should continue to evolve based on the dynamic context and technology development, as long as we maintain 4 themes across each of those sectors. For example, in the transport sector, we have seamless mobility, searchable city, universal access, and safe journey. And what we mean by that, that any solution that we develop has to be categorized based on those 4. So we need to include everyone. So universal access, it's about, for example, the language, being a multicultural society. We have different languages, for example. So we have Arabic, English, and also some other Asian languages like Hindi, for example, used in the country. So we need to cater for all of the segments of the society. Not just the language, but also physical environment. And we need to make sure that physically we are actually supporting everyone. We have to use some solutions that, for example, in searchable city, that not just to find your way around in the country. So it's not like Google Maps or Waze, but we're talking about emerging technology. So we're bringing solutions that have augmented reality with the capability of wayfinding in the country, indoors and outdoors. The same also for the other 4 sectors. In 2019, we have selected or we have tendered some solutions, and they were awarded. So for example, in the smart healthcare sector, we have awarded virtual consultation solution. to an entrepreneurs and startups partnership with another company in the country. And this platform facilitates remote doctor consultation through telemedicine, enabling access to clinical healthcare anytime and anywhere. That actually helped us in the pandemic and in COVID-19. It helped the doctors connect with the patients. It was like on time. We didn't know that the COVID-19 will happen this year, but we have accelerated that project. Also in the environment, we have the National Food Security Analytics, which is a platform that provides food supply and demand dashboard powered by a countrywide analytics capabilities. Every year, we'll be tendering around 20 smart solutions with different complexities for local startup and international technology companies too. We have a roadmap for 5 years, as you can see on the screen, but we want you to focus on the next year needs and solutions that we are seeking support from entrepreneurs and companies around the world to help us with. For the next, we're not saying that you cannot look at also 2020 or 2023 or other years, but we want you to know that those years will be refreshed in a yearly basis. But we have fixed the smart solutions that we need for next year. And this presentation that we will share with you, you will have a deep dive on all of the sectors, and you will know our requirements for each sector. For next year, for example, we have in the healthcare, we will need a pregnancy and baby care smart solution to be developed. Every use case will have a description, a very high level description with an issue statement describing the pain point for the users, and here, which are the only women, and also what is the key benefit expected from this smart solution. Developers will also like to see a user journey, how this is being implemented. What are the key services required for implementing such solution? What are the touch points? Do we need to create a mobile application? Do we need to have a web presence for that solution, and so on? We will give you also an overview of the regulatory complexity in the country. For this particular solution, for example, we don't have any challenges. But you will find, for example, if we're talking about autonomous vehicle, you will find that this is very challenging to start with. So maybe a small entrepreneurs or small startup might not want to focus on that kind of solutions that have a complex regulations in the state of Qatar. We will show you also the kind of estimated timeline that is required, or even the investment that we are estimating for this project. You will find the same also. We have identified the stakeholders, who are the owners, and what kind of dependencies of other smart solutions that is required. This information is available here in this presentation, and will be updated by the end of the year. You will find it on our website later on. We've done this for environment, transport, sports, and healthcare. And we're still working on the transport and logistics use cases. So we don't in this presentation deck, but we will later on, when you connect with us, we will be able to share it with you. It's not about only smart solutions. We have other initiatives that we want to develop, and the focus for next year, for example, we are building or developing policies and standards, and we need support also from other companies and around the world, also collaboration to help us with that. We need a partner to help us with the communication and marketing and help us promote the program, not just locally and regionally, but also around the world. We will build a national cloud strategy, and we need support on that. Again, all the information about it are what is the scope, what is the expected outcome, and KPIs is also in the presentation. That was a brief about TASMU, and we are not the only implementers in Qatar. There are many players and various opportunities that support the startups and businesses in Qatar. For example, Qatar Free Zone Authority, which was established in 2018, has identified emerging technology as vital focus sectors. It offers outstanding opportunities and benefits for businesses seeking to expand investing in the digital nation. QFC is another, or Qatar Financial Center is another leading entity in the country that leads domestic and international growth and focusing on digital and other key sectors. Qatar Foundation also focus on research and development of technology-based companies. Not to mention Qatar Development Bank that helps Qatari entrepreneurs and innovators to contribute to the diversification of the Qatari economy. For the sake of the time, I'll just skip off some of those slides. We have established innovation as a crucial pillar, as we said, and across the innovation funnel, we have identified key projects that supports entrepreneurs. One of them is the Innovation Lab that helps entrepreneurs and startups and academia, even the researchers, to pilot or test their solutions. We have Digital Incubation Center that ideates, that help startups also to ideate and to commercialize their solutions within Qatar, and maybe later on support them to export them to the international arena. Digital Valley will take an overarching role of digital innovation ecosystem orchestrator. It will support the startup and SMEs to drive digital transformation and innovation with overall objective of developing the digital economy. This is very important also. So we said that the Innovation Lab help connect the entrepreneurs with the pilot zones in the country. We have identified some of them like Aspire Zone, Lusail City, Msharib, and Katara. And it will help, we will help them test and improve the innovation. They will gain publicity and reputation for the innovation efforts, and the zones will be developed model to test new emerging solutions, promote digitization and Qatar economic sector. So to connect with us, you can visit our website. Just remember that we will be updating it by the end of the year, tasmu.gov, tasmu.qa or tasmu.gov.qa, and you can connect with us on tdvinfo@motc.gov.qa. If you are visiting the country, you can visit us in the ministry premises on the 12th floor and the Lotus Tower and the Diplomatic Street. Thank you for your patience, and that's all.
Thank you so much, Maha, for that presentation. That was very informative and a good way to dive into the panel, which we'll be doing so in 1 minute. Before we do so, I just want to have a quick video played from the embassy. So the Embassy of Qatar, and specifically the economic team from the Commercial Attaché's office, put together a small video for us that I will play right now.
The State of Qatar is driving its ambitious economic diversification agenda under its National Vision 2030 by investing in smart cities technologies and encouraging digital innovation to build its smart nation. Substantial business opportunities for U.S. companies exist under the country's flagship TASMU Smart Qatar program and through strategic smart city projects at Lusail City and Mosharraf, downtown Doha. TASMU Smart Qatar aims to develop 5 key sectors, including environment, logistics, healthcare, transportation, and sports. and is seeking cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality and virtual reality, big data analytics, blockchain, cloud computing, drones, Internet of Things. Moshe Reb Downtown Doha and Losail City provides additional opportunities in smart buildings, autonomous vehicles, intelligent transportation, and safety and security systems. American companies interested in pursuing these opportunities can also take advantage of Tasmu Digital Valley, an innovation cluster providing a full range of support services for U.S. companies to grow their investments. For more information about doing business and investing in Qatar, please contact the Office of the Commercial Attaché at the Embassy of the State of Qatar in Washington, D.C.
Okay, wonderful. Well, with that, we are on to our conversation for today. Before we dive in, please note that we are taking some questions at the end of this panel. So go ahead and start adding those in, thinking of those, and we'll get to those shortly. So a lot to unpack here after those presentations. So today I have three experts on that really know a whole lot about this subject, and I'd love to welcome them to the virtual stage right now. So Mr. Yazan Al-Safi, who is the Digital Industry Development Director at MOTC. Good evening. Mr. Thaddeus Malessa, excuse me, is the Senior Economic Advisor at the Qatar Financial Center. And Mr. Bassam Al-Manai is the Executive Director of the Real Estate Directorate at the Qatar Development Bank. Gentlemen, good morning and good evening.
Morning.
Good morning.
Everyone.
Nick, good morning. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you all for joining us. So let's go ahead and dive right in, and maybe as a way to introduce some of the work that you do and address this topic, let's just start out with a high-level idea of how can American companies pursue some of these opportunities that we've been discussing so far in this presentation, and what exactly does your office do to support American companies as they look to partner with Qatar? Yazan, please go ahead.
Sounds good. As what Her Excellency have been actually saying initially in her keynote speech, and then Maha, we have a lot of opportunities, and in these opportunities and the information of opportunities available for all the American companies. But not just that. I mean, at the end of the day, what we do here at the Digital Industry Development, we work closely with the American companies. First, we try to understand what do they offer in terms of technologies, in terms of how they are aligned with TESMO from industries and so on. So first, it's more about understanding what do they have and how they are aligned with basically the opportunities that we have. And therefore, that's why for this reason, the first step we say to all the companies, please register with us at TESMO Digital Valley. Contact us, talk to us. We have a specialized team that basically will be working with you directly. And then from there, we'll try to understand what is the synergy out there. Do they need a local partner at the end of the day when we're talking about startups? Because here in Qatar also, we develop our own startups. And so we have a pool of startups. At the same time, we've been working with many different international companies around the world. We're scouting for these emerging technologies. Therefore, we might actually find a synergy between American companies and foreign companies to tackle some of these complex use cases that we have, or even making sure that we have a unique proposition. From there, we'll basically say, okay, would you like to register? As we said, we have many different arrangements. We have Qatar Free Zones, we have Qatar Financial Center, we have Qatar Science and Technology Park, and so on. There's many different arrangements, which basically whatever works better for the company. And then we work together to make sure that they establish and take some of these opportunities, making sure it develops and becomes a real business.
Wonderful. Bassam, why don't you continue that and tell us a little bit about what QDB does and how they support American companies coming to Qatar?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you, and to all the fellow panelists as well. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
First of all. There's no doubt that Qatar has now become one of the most prominent investment destinations in the region for both local and foreign investors, with some of the most promising growth opportunities across sectors and industries. When it comes to the smart city investments, there are several ways in which American companies and enterprises can pursue such opportunities in Qatar. One of QDB's crucial roles, as you've mentioned before, and as I will also delve more in depth into, is to bolster and support the investment ecosystem in Qatar. And the bank contributes to this pursuit in several distinctive ways. First, our annual investment forum, which has recently been held virtually for the first time. During the event, we launched a digital platform that grants VCs and investors from across the globe access to fast-growing startups, many of which are shaping the future of Doha as a smart city. American companies can leverage this unique platform to explore such opportunities, gaining exclusive access to these startups right before they scale up. Second, QDB supports up to 50 startups annually in both its startup, sports tech, which is a sports tech accelerator, and fintech through our fintech incubation and acceleration programs, which are both open to global startups and represent tech-focused, sector-specific, and that could add as well to the fundamental understanding of the smart city infrastructure as we understand it today and as we seek to implement it in Qatar. This allows US enterprises to establish and grow their businesses in Qatar, all while benefiting from a wide range of support services, including access to capital, coaching, office space, and much more. They will also be contributing to enhancing the competition as an essential component of the innovation ecosystem.
Wonderful. Thaddeus, why don't you continue and tell us a little bit about what QFC does and how they play a role in this ecosystem.
Sure, it would be my pleasure. So for those not yet familiar, Qatar Financial Center is an onshore licensing platform. So what that means is once you get a business license from QFC, you are able to do business inside Qatar and out. So the primary advantage of QFC is that we offer a business-friendly environment that will be very amenable to US companies, so they can come hit the ground running. Now, what does that mean? What's an amenable environment? Primarily, it's the fact that we have rules and regulations that are in English, that are freely available on our website for everyone to peruse and understand. We have a client affairs team that is eager and able to handle any disputes or problems for companies that are on our platform as they interact in the state of Qatar. And in case that doesn't work out, we also have our own independent courts and arbitration center that would be able to resolve those types of disputes. And beyond that, we have our own immigration center that would be able to facilitate residence permits for companies so they can do so in an expedited fashion. We are no stranger to US companies. We in fact host the US-Qatar Business Council here in Doha. And in fact, 2 of the first 20 companies that were licensed by QFC were US companies back in 2006. Those were PwC and Morgan Stanley, and shortly thereafter, Goldman Sachs. So today, in 2020, we have over 60 US companies on our platform. And we have about 122, as of last count, digital companies. So that's important, obviously, for today's audience, so that they are able to get licensed by QFC and right away take advantage of the opportunities, commercial opportunities that we've heard about thus far.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Thaddeus. And maybe we can move right on just from you. And I'd love to hear a little bit about how the 3 institutions work together and what sort of programmings you offer, and what are some examples of some of the incubators and free trade zones or free zones, excuse me, that help create a business-friendly environment in Qatar? Thaddeus, please, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure, of course, would be my pleasure. So basically, we, as I said, we work together with all of the entities that are represented today. So QFC, Qatar Financial Center, has direct agreements with both QDB, Qatar Development Bank, and the Ministry of Transportation and Communication. And that's regarding fintech for QDB and digital companies for MOTC, respectively. So QFC directly supports Qatar Fintech Hub that's being run by QDB, where QFC firms have access to QDB's incubator and accelerator programs. And the same goes for MOTC. We heard in Maha's presentation about the Innovation Lab and the Digital Incubation Center. So those DIC entities, companies, some of them already have licenses with us, including one called Smart Shuttle Technologies.
Thank you so much. Bassam, maybe you can pick that up right from there. So Thaddeus mentioned the incubation and acceleration programs in Qatar. How do these first promote homegrown entrepreneurs, and how do they help bring in outside innovators into the ecosystem?
Well, definitely, we, as I've mentioned earlier, we primarily we contribute through a variety of services aside from the capital. So it's not in terms of a basic provision of capital and lending, which is available to startups, especially in the sectors that are of interest to us, such as technology or smart city related innovation-led technologies and solutions. These are, of course, available, but we also have a whole host of services and support services such as coaching, mentoring, some consulting and marketing fees as well that are covered by the bank, that are available for both local and international companies through our platform, and qualifying companies that do qualify for our services. And so that link is there, of course, for companies to leverage on.
Wonderful. And Yazin, maybe you could just round that out and tell us a little bit about
Yes.
maybe a specific example of a program that you've been working on.
Yes, definitely. So under MOTC, for example, we have an incubation center. And I think the reason why also we have an incubation center, having an incubation center gives us an advantage as policymakers, because we understand the problems and the challenges of entrepreneurs. We work on a daily basis with entrepreneurs. And many of definitely the startups that we have here in the Silicon Valley, they understand that with the current innovation that we have, most of the time, entrepreneurs, they come up with new business models. And these business models, most of the time, they find challenges from a regulatory perspective. Existing laws, existing policies that are hinders and create barriers for these entrepreneurs. And since for Qatar, ICT is up there in terms of priorities, and diversifying the economy, moving towards a digital economy is something very important for us. Therefore, we work with many different regulators. Definitely, we work very closely with QDB, with QFC. Basically, with QDB, we're working very close in terms of the funding aspect, in terms of the fintech companies. With QFC, a lot of our startups actually registering with QFC. So we work very closely to find what are the barriers these entrepreneurs are facing, what are the issues and the challenges, and then we actually have a very pragmatic approach in terms of sitting with many different ministries, trying to find how can we change some of the policies, how can we amend some of the laws that we have, just to make sure that some of these business models can work. Again, we actually going with a programmatic approach, and that the pilot zone, as mentioned earlier, to make sure that we can use them to test all these new technologies, new business models, how it's going to work before rolling it out there. And the size of Qatar helps. Qatar is a great place for startups to actually test their new technologies, their new business models before launching somewhere else around the world. So I think that's an advantage that we have here.
Yeah, that's a great point, guys. And Thaddeus, maybe I can turn to you on a similar issue about how Qatar is using its position as a financial center and a financial hub to explore and fulfill this vision of Qatar's smart city and smart country future.
Sure, of course. Well, we do that directly through at QFC in our agreement. So, for example, in our memorandum of understanding with MOTC, with Ministry of Transport and Communications, we've specifically dedicated to open a channel of funding for entrepreneurs and startups that have objectives that are aligned with the Smart Qatar program. So, at QFC, we primarily, obviously, given the name, host financial institutions. And of those, we have about 12 corporate and investment banks. And those have about 2/3 of their geographic exposure to Qatar. And that lending, majority of that exposure is term loans. And out of that, of course, quite a bit of it is project finance. And so that's exactly the kind of space where we would have ample opportunities for projects that we're discussing today. So these type of smart city projects. And that's particularly important because not only do we have active financial institutions that are providing credit to such projects, but they're also expanding and they're expanding rapidly. So as of the third quarter of this year, the balance sheet, so basically the assets that the banks hold, those 12 corporate and investment banks have expanded by 26% year on year to $14.5 billion. So, I think we are very much an active player in providing funds.
Wonderful. And we have a few questions coming in, and we'll get to those momentarily. If anyone else has any questions for our panelists, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box. Bassam, before we end our session here, I'd love to turn to you. And we're having a case study after our discussion before the Q&A from Machete Properties. But I'd love to hear from you. Do you have an example of a success story of a US company or a foreign company coming to Qatar and really partnering with the government to helping them achieve some of these goals?
Actually, I'm not aware of any specific company that has come, but there are several American companies that have worked here and have done well. I know in Sharab, the project has been managed by Turner, Time Qatar, which is a joint venture between Sharab and an American company. And so I'm not really aware of any specific companies, but there is a whole host of international companies that regularly come to Qatar and are very, very successful.
Okay, wonderful. And Yazan, maybe just to wrap up this panel, in her remarks, Her Excellency spoke to the excellent work that Qatar has done in building out a smart country. What are some of the innovation sectors in the US that you anticipate playing a really pivotal role in this development?
So I think going back to the priority sectors that we have in TESMO, so we're talking about the environment, the healthcare, the logistics, the transportation, the sports sectors. So these are the main sectors, and the technology aspect that are enabling these sectors, the smart sectors. So we're talking about what we said earlier, the artificial intelligence, the augmented reality, the data, the big data, the big data analytics. We actually have about 15 different technologies, the latest technologies, the emerging technologies that are priority for us. And for that reason, we have the iLab here, because when we look at technologies, we look at the whole full cycle from basically the research and development to the realization, to testing the technology, to rolling it out at the end of the day. So when we look at who are the companies that we would like to see in Qatar, all aspects of the company. So the multinational companies, and we actually have multinational companies that are well established in Qatar. Microsoft is actually well established in Qatar, and they're the basis of the central platform. It's based on Azure platform. We also have IBM, Oracle, all of them are well established here in Qatar. But what we'd like to see more of the startups in Qatar, especially when we look at some of the use cases that we have. These use cases is a great play for these startups. And definitely, I know some of these startups, they have some risk when they decided to actually reallocate to another country. And that's why, for example, we established Tesmo Digital Valley, because Tesmo Digital Valley, the idea behind it is once they get to know what you offer, then we say, okay, fine. I mean, maybe you can find a local partner here in Qatar. What are your risks? And we can help you mitigating this risk. Do you require funding? And as we said earlier, Tesmo have basically special ways from many different fund providers, and even currently working on developing an angel investor network. Therefore, we're looking for these specialized companies that are aligned with our use cases, and they're interested to actually come and test and realize some of these use cases with their technologies, definitely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I think that's all the time we have for the moment. Yazen, Thaddeus, Bassam, thank you all so much for your time today. We'll return to you for the Q&A shortly. But before we do that, we're going to play one last video, and that's in the form of a case study from what Munsheda Properties has been able to achieve. And this is Mr. Clark Williams, the head of the marketing department. I will go ahead and share my screen one last time.
Distinguished guests, honorable followers and viewers, good morning from the beautiful Baraha Masharib, a cornerstone of our city, Masharib downtown Doha, and the largest covered square in the Middle East. I want to start by thanking the US-Qatar Business Council for giving Masharib Properties the opportunity to be part of this conference, which is held in collaboration with the Embassy of the State of Qatar in Washington, D.C., and the Silicon Valley Forum on Smarter Countries and Thriving Communities. Ladies and gentlemen, today, we are accustomed to the idea of conferences and events taking place online instead of physically. We found the transformation journey that we had to undertake collectively as communities worldwide quite representative to the sudden changes we had to undertake in how we work, communicate, conduct business, or even socialize with one another. This remarkable transition in such a short time frame is seen by many as a mark of our readiness to move into urban developments that are digitally centric and evolve around the inhabitants. Today and right now, it is time to raise awareness of smart cities, promote sustainability among new generations, encourage existing companies to adopt to these trends due to the benefits to nations and communities, and provide innovative solutions, especially during a crisis. Last week, we hosted the Doha Smart Cities Summit, a virtual summit that gathered experts from Qatar and around the world to discuss the role of smart cities in today's post-pandemic world. During the pandemic, smart cities proved their ability to meet individual and companies' demands better than conventional cities, especially in the fields of remote learning, work from home, robotic delivery services, and autonomous vehicles. For example, at Masharib Properties, a developer that considers sustainability at its core, we are proud to announce that we will be adopting autonomous vehicles concept into our flagship development project, Masharib Downtown Doha. These vehicles can be used in many matters, especially in providing paperless, contactless, and driverless delivery services. Further tests are being conducted in this area, and once they are completed, we will be able to better serve our residents and tenants in the Smart City District, Masharib Downtown Doha. This city district is the first downtown regeneration project embedding smart city technology and connectivity right from the start. This city district defines urban regeneration through sustainable design that consumes fewer resources, generates less waste, costs less to operate, and achieves a reduced carbon footprint. The city district also has one of the highest concentration of gold and platinum LEED certified sustainable buildings globally, making it one of the smartest and most sustainable fully built city districts in the world. From the creation of new architectural language to sustainable buildings, solar panels, and water irrigation systems and smart infrastructure, Masharif downtown Doha is a shining example of the lead that we have taken in developing new, smart, and sustainable construction trends in our region. With the several 100,000 sensors and connected devices, integrated city operations, and digital services, we've created an intelligent infrastructure that international companies can leverage to create and launch their most innovative services yet. We look forward to inviting you to our amazing city soon. Thank you for your interest, and I wish you a safe and fruitful 2020.
Okay, so that was wonderful, and we are going to move on to the last section, which is the Q&A. We have a few questions coming in. If anyone else has questions for our panelists, please feel free to sit them down into the Q&A section. We're bringing all our three panelists back on, as well as Atman Agmo from Masharif. Atman, good evening. I think you're there, Atman.
Yes, good evening. Good morning, Nick, and good evening to our friend in Doha.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Maybe I'll start with a question for you, and that's maybe you can talk a little bit how the current pandemic has affected the smart city plan, and what's the vision for the year ahead?
Thanks, Nick, and no doubt that the pandemic has a major impact on the way we work, the way we live, and the way we travel. And we just finished our Smart City virtual summit last week, and the core of the summit was Smart City pandemic ready. I just want to take one step before I give you a little more detail that digital transformation has accelerated massively in Qatar, and with the right vision and strong leadership and building the right ecosystem and the right execution model, Qatar was able to lead in the region and advance in ranking and digital transformation in general and smart city in specific. This right vision was helped us and helped the cities to be ready and to combat this pandemic, and we were able not to fully combat it, but we were able to manage and to overcome it in a short period of time versus traditional cities, which took them a long time to adopt. This is one of the advantages, was proper planning, proper execution, and Sheriff was part of the vision and smart journey that is fully aligned with Vision Qatar Vision 2030 and fully aligned with the MOTC mission. We work very closely with the MOTC in a lot of initiatives, and we have a close collaboration on a lot of smart initiatives, Nick.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Atman. And I'll leave this open to any of our four gentlemen on the panel right now. One of the questions that came through early on was about IP and patent ownership. So a startup that has presence in Qatar, what's the requirements? What are the assurances that the Qatari government is able to provide for IP ownership? Anything to take that?
So currently we have an IP registration office at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So they are the specialized people to talk about this. But then when I read this, is it required to have a shared ownership? So my assumption there, they think that Qatar would own this IP, but no, any startup or big corporation, any registered business in Qatar that develop an IP, the IP is theirs. We not in Qatar will not take an ownership, and that's my understanding in the subject. Now, if they have further information about the IP, definitely we can refer them to the right owner, which is and to the IP basically office in which they have the full information. But definitely, I mean, we care about intellectual property, and we've done a lot of changes recently. There is even a strategy related to this that has been under development. I'm not sure if it was enacted or not, and that's why it's a high priority for the country, definitely, and protecting the IP for businesses and foreign businesses who would like to establish in Qatar.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Yazan. That's very helpful. And another question we have here is on something that you touched on earlier, which was what Microsoft is doing in the country. One of the questions here is that there's a lot of mention of startups and entrepreneurship, and there's a lot of excitement around that in Qatar. But what about some larger corporations? What corporations are really playing a large role right now? And what are some companies that the country hopes to be more involved in the future? Leave that to anyone.
So I'll start that, and maybe our other participant can add to this. But to be honest, when we look at the technology ecosystem here in Qatar, all the big players are actually there. Cisco, IBM, Microsoft, and I'm sure my colleague in Sharib can actually talk a lot of the technologies that they have there, and so on. So for us, in our iLab, Microsoft has invested, Huawei has invested into it. We have SAP as well investing and so on. So we have a lot of companies that are actually investing in Qatar because they're seeing the potential of Qatar in terms, it's a great place for them to test some of these technologies. And exactly what Othman was said, the way that we dealt with the pandemic, the way that straight away Qatar was one of the countries that developed an application for track and tracing. And this helped the country a lot. We developed ihtiraz and helped us in making sure that we are one of the few countries that didn't really shut down the economy, but we were able to survive and maintain the balance. And Qatar is a great example to show this. Again, almost all the multinationals have a presence in Qatar. And maybe Uthman, you can add more about some of the technologies that you have in
I just want to add what Yazan has mentioned, that on the smart home solutions, on the smart building solution, we have also Siemens, we have Honeywell, and these companies are fully focusing on the smart cities, smart building, intelligent building that works very close with the cloud companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. On the other side, we have also a sensors company that come in Qatar. For example, we have in Sharib about 600,000 plus sensors, IoT devices are implemented and connected and gathering the data. Now we're adding the next generation of the sensor, which is edge sensor, that the sensor does the analytic and of the data on the sensor itself and transmitted only the analytics data to reduce the traffic and to give you the right data in the real time to make the right decision. So what Yazan is mentioning, yes, big players, all the smart cities solutions and vendors are in Qatar, and we work with them very closely.
Fantastic. Another question here that I thought was interesting, and that's from Hind Habash, and that's with the shift to remote work, how do you see smart city solution providers sourcing and retaining qualified and technical workforce? So we're going through this monumental shift, and how is the smart city solutions changing? How is the plan addressing this shift we're going through? Happy to turn it over to anyone who wants to jump in there.
From our side, Nick. From our side, Nick, we worked very close with the MOTC in some solution, and one of them was remote working, and we worked also with Microsoft on that, and we were able to transform our platform, our infrastructure, to help our co-worker and our colleague to work remotely effective immediately. And honestly, we didn't see that much of productivity impact. At the beginning, was people were trying to get adapted, working from home, more from home situation than technology. And once they get adapted and comfortable, the productivity has risen to the level that we would like to see. So we didn't see an impact on the productivity at all from colleagues working from remote.
So I echo what Othman was saying. Actually, from virtual work, yes, definitely. And as I said earlier, Qatar was one of the few countries that we didn't shut down the economy. The ministries were actually everyone went to work, and what helped us is the big investment that Qatar has done in terms of their infrastructure and the digital government and so on. So as a government, we're able to function virtually. That's one thing. Secondly, what we were able to do, we have a program at MOTC that is responsible for digitally transforming our SMEs, called DTSME or Go Digital. So basically, because when you look around the world, the businesses that got affected majorly by the pandemic are the SMEs. So we were able straight away work with all the multinational companies, and not even multinational companies, local technology providers, to find solutions that help them for these businesses, first to be present online, secondly to be able to function online. So e-commerce, for example, in Qatar flourished during the pandemic. Last mile delivery, we have a lot of startups within this space that were able to grow at an exponential time. And then technology adoption, actually the pandemic have helped a lot of our companies to accelerate their digital transformation journey. So it's yes, definitely the pandemic was brought a lot of heartache to a lot of people, but also helped our economy and businesses to flourish.
Just want to add one more thing, Nick, that the investment that the telco industry has made in Qatar was a big factor in making this transition and transformation very successful. It's very strong fiber optic around the country. 5G was implemented. For example, in Sheriff, we have the entire city's 5G network available right now. These two factors as well play a big role in seamless transition and less impact in productivity for our workforce working from home.
Wonderful. Well, I think we are just about out of time today. So Yazin, Thaddeus, Bassam, Atman, thank you all so much for your time today. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And make sure all our American companies to register with us at Tasmo Digital Valley. We're looking forward to have them here in Qatar.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we have quite a few other questions here that we'll follow up with later. And sorry we didn't have time to get to your questions. But just to wrap things up, thank you all so much for joining us today. We do have, this is a two-part discussion. So our next discussion is focused on building smart and resilient food systems using technology. So that is on December 15th at 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:15 a.m. More information and registration on that can be found at siliconvalleyforum.com. And Mohammed, I'd love to turn it back over to you to close things out.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for working with us on this and your support. I appreciate everyone that participated. I would say what described today is a wow, how much Qatar has done, how much Qatar is planning to do. A lot more is coming. I know Qatar have a fantastic infrastructure, and we saw today how this will be utilized more and more in the future. More American companies, a lot of American companies, I know that they're working in Qatar and they're helping Qatar as well build up on this. And as Qatar will become, I would say, a platform in the region to show the success of a lot of these initiatives that we have seen. More American companies will be as well, hopefully participating in this, small, big, all sizes that fits in from all across the United States, but as well from Silicon Valley, the West Coast. And actually today, it's interesting, Qatar Airways announced that they will have a nonstop flight from San Francisco starting December 15th. And they will be also doing nonstop flights from Seattle starting March 15th. That was just announced today. So more connections to more of our American companies. Thank you for all this information, all this part, and we will have more of this happening. The US-Qatar Business Council in DC, our offices in Qatar as well, will work with you guys, with all the companies that participated today on our event, to share any of your questions, help you, facilitate your entrance to the Qatari market, be with any of the entities that were with us today and talk to them. On the USQVC behalf, I thank everyone here, the Embassy, the Silicon Valley Forum, Qatar Financial Center, Ministry of Transport and Communication, and Her Excellency Reem Al-Mansouri, Bassam, Qatar Development Bank, Musharraf Properties, Mr. Uthman, and as well William for his message today. We appreciate your participation and we thank you for being with us.
Wonderful. And with that, I'll close it out. Everyone have a wonderful day or evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.